Okay, so I'm going to tell you how water actually came to the earth, because what you just heard was a complete lie. So this is actually what happened.
Complete lie.
It was a complete lie. Okay, so this old man, and he's made of wood and stone. He's got this heart all encased in this wooden chest. His hands are made of twigs and of bits of wood with these little branches coming off.
I don't really remember being made of twigs. I thought it was quite skinny man.
He was really skinny. It was like he was made of twigs and wood, but he wasn't. He was just really, really thin and spindly. So he had these spindly little hands, and he would just, every day, his job was to move these rocks from one place to another. So he'd go, and there was this big, barren, flat landscape, and he'd just be picking up these rocks with his skinny, tiny little arms and hauling them over into piles and putting them in big, big piles to reach up to the sky, up to where all the clouds were.
Well, no, that's not right. You didn't do that.
No, he didn't do that.
Don't you remember?
Yeah, no, he didn't do that. He actually, the landscape was really rocky and high, and he was taking the rocks down. So he was having to climb up and take the rocks down because he wanted the landscape to be completely flat. So he was climbing up these rocks, and it was really, really hot, and he, his spindly little body.
Just pause there for 2 secs. When you next interrupt, you carry it on for a bit, and then Hannah can interrupt you. So when you go, no, it didn't happen like that, it happened like. Okay. So you carry on a bit of the story. Carry on.
So he was climbing up these rock formations, and he was really, really tired, and he was having to haul these big rocks down and push them with like all his strength, and they would tumble down and crash down and make all this noise and echo across.
No, it definitely didn't happen like that.
What happened?
Well, although he was really skinny, he was actually very, very strong, the strongest man that ever lived. So it was actually not a problem for him. He was just kind of picking these rocks up and just casting them asunder like they were a feather or something. It wasn't really a trouble for him. So he was getting all the rocks down, as he did every day, when he noticed one rock that looked a little different from the rest of them, because it was red.
No, it was because it was shaped like a big tortoise.
Oh.
And he had never seen a tortoise before, so he went over to it because he was really excited, because he thought it was going to be a living creature. So he went running over with his spindly yet really strong legs. He went running over to it, and he crouched down, and he looked at the tortoise rock.
And then he said, "Oh, you're here finally. I've been waiting for you."
And it was a tortoise.
It was a tortoise.
It was actually a tortoise.
Yeah. But not as we know it.
No, not as we know it. It was red. It was a red tortoise.
Red, yeah.
And so he knocked on the shell, and he crouched down, and he said to the tortoise, he said, "I've been waiting for you for so long. I'm so glad you're here. Where did you come from?" And the tortoise opened its eyes, and it said, "I've come from
Mars."
He said, "I've come from Mars," and the old man didn't know what Mars was. So he was really, really confused, and he sat down on the earth next to the tortoise, and he said, "Well, what is Mars? Where is Mars from?"
Carry on, we're going to try something.
And the tortoise quickly interrupted him and said, "Mars isn't from anywhere, silly. Mars is actually just something completely different that I can't explain."
He said that Mars was basically what Laurie was talking about earlier. So it's little tiny rock particles that were flying around like little peas. Mars was actually one of them. And the tortoise...
Actually, how water came to the earth. Sorry, carry on, guys.
Okay, so these little
how
peas
water came to the
just
earth
flying around,
was basically
and
there was a planet
was there, and it was on this tiny pea,
and it was just like a big ball of water, and that was kind of like floating around in the universe.
What happened then was he
at the same time there was a planet called Planet Earth, and that was in the universe, like that was just a big like sphere of like Earth and sun.
The tortoise tumbled over and over.
I'm pretty sure it was a massive cube.
Grew until
Sure, Earth was a cube.
No, because he wasn't tumbling. He was actually just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. He was getting so small that you could barely even see him. Absolutely tiny. And because he was getting so small, the old man had to chase after him and capture him before he got any smaller. And he did. He managed to catch him just when he was the size of the end of the needle head. And basically what he did then was put him in his top pocket, and he thought, right, what we need to do is get this man upstairs. So he started building the rocks up again, and started taking the tortoise up these stairs that he'd made, up into the sky, which was red at the time, like the tortoise itself. So you kind of found a bit of a correlation between the two of them. And basically, he got him into the sky eventually after a few days. Still only very, very, very small. He thought he lost it at one point because he was so small. And he was sitting on top of this big mound that he made. And blue clouds came along. Just right in front of him.
He definitely had a fluid guy. He was
fluid, but
I always thought he was a bit of a
changing
guy.
No, he wasn't effective. He definitely wasn't.
Blue
He
cloud.
was actually quite massive.
Blue cloud. You put the tiny tortoise into the blue cloud. Tiny tortoise into the blue cloud. No, because it was actually very small. It was a very small tortoise, as we've already established, and he put it in the big blue cloud. And then, you know, the old man sat on the old blue cloud.
Yeah, they tried.
Okay, guys, build it up, build it up, build it up, build it up.
And basically, he
he
started riding.
You are right, everyone. You are right.
Red tortoise, and he was massaging the cloud with his hands, really vigorously, really massaging the cloud. And the little red tortoise absorbed into the cloud, and as he massaged it, all of this flying out of the big red cloud, flying down, and water was everywhere. And water was everywhere. So basically, the moral of the story is that the water, the first row of the earth, has come from tiny red.
And silence!
And that is how water came to Earth.